This is episode 83 of Pausing in the Prophets, and today we are looking at Isaiah 10, verses 1 through 4. And Isaiah writes, "Woe to those who enact evil statutes, and to those who constantly record unjust decisions, so as to deprive the needy of justice and rob the poor of my people of their rights, so that widows may be their spoil and that they may plunder the orphans. Now what will you do in the day of punishment, and in the devastation which will come from afar? To whom will you flee for help? And where will you leave your wealth? Nothing remains but to crouch among the captives or fall among the slain. In spite of all this, his anger does not turn away, and his hand is still stretched out." Last week we looked at the first two verses of chapter 10, and I cautioned us about unintentional evil, but Isaiah is talking about intentional evil here. The leaders here act so that they can gain at the expense of the defenseless. And what is the result? Well, it's punishment. It's devastation. The rulers will be tempted to flee, but he says, "Where will you leave your wealth?" He asks that mockingly. A judgment will come on those who take advantage of the least of these, and they'll no longer be able to enjoy their spoil. For those who are unjust, gain may seem promising in the moment. It will all be lost in the end. But we need to notice one more thing. This is now the fourth time that Isaiah has reminded his hearers that in spite of all this, God's anger does not turn away, and his hand is still stretched out. We saw it 3 times in chapter 9, and now here again the 4th time. It is as if God is saying, don't think that I'll tire of judging injustice. Don't think that the next time you'll get away with it. God is just. Which is why the cross is such an overwhelming balm to us, who has not failed to care for the least of these in some way. And yet at the cross we can find forgiveness, for Jesus made atonement for the sins of those who believe through his death. Let us respond by caring for others as Jesus has cared for us.